next item is approval of minutes. This is for the governing board meeting on August 22nd, 2023, as presented by a motion. Mr. King moves. Ms. Anderson, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Not seeing any, motion carries. We're going to move on to the next section, which is general functions. The first item is staff, student, and community recognitions. Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. We have a special announcement tonight from a former Vail student who is now a current Vail teacher. Lonnie via where you want to introduce the student.
Thank you, President Pat, Mr. Pruitt, members of the board. My name is Lonnie Villanueva, and I am a music teacher at Frontier Ridge Elementary. And I would like to introduce fifth grade student, Hope Beck. She will be singing for you Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Wouldn't you think my collections? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this jewel. How many wonders can one carry home in a world she's got everything. I got gadgets, suitcase, books of plenty. I got lost since galore. That's money. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. With the people I wanna see you dancing, walking around at those we call feet. So don't be too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing. So down street, up where they walk, where they run, up where they stay. Free, I have that well. If I could live out of these waters, what would I pay to spend for myself? They understand, but they don't reprimand their daughters. Right, young woman, sing a song, ready to stand. People know, ask the questions and get some answers. What's the matter and what's the word? But I always part of that world.
Yeah, we'll go.
Say thank you so much. We're gonna come take a picture with you. That's okay.
Right in front of it. Yeah, right in front of the logo. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe get started. Mr. Donaldson, you have the honor of following that. Then followed by Mrs. Fields.
Very, very tough act to follow. President Pratt, members of the board, Mr. Caruth, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the Dale School District Maintenance Department, as well as giving a special shout out to our HVAC crew, Dave Silva, Mario Ramirez, and Angus Torres. This has been a historically hot summer, and we've had multiple air conditioning units go down this year. We'd like to send a significant, sincere thank you for their efforts to keep us in our classrooms as much as possible this year. Often working on the roofs during some of the hottest parts of the year, hottest parts of the day. Their work, their important work allows our important work to take place in the classroom. So very much appreciate their efforts. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our photography teacher, Sean Roby, along with his students, and our office manager, Jamie Crone, for their work in completing our school pictures. This is really a rewarding opportunity when our students get to take the knowledge that they're using in the classroom and then put that into play in a professional setting in doing our pictures for our school. Their products are phenomenal. And then finally, I'd like to thank our core team members, Brooks Lawson, Rebecca McLaren, Sabrina Wilson, Amy Robinson, Amy Westbury, and Madison Koslak for their work to realign our behavior expectations on campus through our PBIS reboot. It has helped to put us back in the right, transform things. It has made us a really incredibly successful first school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donaldson. Mrs. Fields, followed by Mr. Graff. Always the way it should be,
I'll Being President Pratt, Superintendent Cruz, members of the board. We have one just significant recognition for Copper Ridge tonight. It was hard. We have so many things to recognize, but even in talking with my staff, we thought this was most appropriate. I would like to recognize Leah Lavelli, a longtime community member at Copper Ridge Elementary. For several years, Leah has been a shining example of what it means to be a dedicated community member. Her journey began when CRE inherited a tortoise, affectionately known as Shelly, several years ago. Leah is an animal lover and saw an opportunity to make a difference in Copper Ridge with our students and families. Over the years, Leah has shown incredible devotion, providing Shelly with a safe and nurturing environment and ensuring she receives proper care and attention. She has spent countless hours and resources supporting Shelly's care and genuinely creating a fun learning experience for our students. She has been a true advocate for Shelly's well-being, teaching us all at Copper Ridge not only about desert tortoise life, but valuable lessons in compassion, responsibility, and environmental stewardship. Leah will be hanging up her zookeeper hat in the beginning of October, and we wish her all the best on her new adventures. As we recognize, I know she and I had several conversations, and this was a very difficult transition for her to make, but she is a model for all of us, embodying the spirit of community, kindness, and dedication. Her contributions have enriched the lives of Shelly, our students, and our staff.
Mr. Graff, followed by Mr. Curley.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz, President Pratt, members of the board. We've had a really great events over the last couple of weeks. First, we had our student council election, so I'd like to recognize Olson Hancock. He is our advisor for student council. So you can imagine, first you gotta get the kids interested in it. Then you walk them through the process. The kids have to go and get signatures of other students on campus that will support them. Then they have to write their campaign program. They have to write their speech. And then they have to get up in front of 300 students, deliver their speech on why they should be elected to that office. And it's just one of the proudest moments when you watch your kids up in front of a large audience, just sharing like, why me? Like, why choose me? And Mr. Hancock just supports the kids all the way through the process. And at one point, one of the kids, they got stuck at the podium. And so he's a big guy. He just gives them that gentle nudge of encouragement just to help them get through their speech. And so Mr. Hancock, he's just an embodiment of helping to grow leaders. So I'd like to recognize him. And in addition to that, I'd like to recognize Casey. She's a third grade teacher at Sycamore. Yes, it's Casey, that's right. And she is our NEHS advisor. So she worked with our 4th and 5th grade teachers to find new candidates, students that are at that 3.8 grade point average or higher. They're also model citizens. So she welcomed them to Honor Society. And again, it's really a proud moment when the kids get up there and their parents can pin that NEHS pin on them. And it's just such a testament to the scholarship, leadership, service, and the character of our students. And we have great teachers like Miss Casey that are helping guiding. So those are many recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Hurley. Then we're going to follow by community connection. I believe it's the technique.
President Pratt, Mr. Cruz, members of the board. It feels like the school year is kind of moving along now, but it wasn't too long ago that we were on that on-ramp and trying to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour. So I want to acknowledge the people that did some amazing stuff to help get that started. First of all is our amazing early college teachers, Patty Manciette and Rayleigh May. We have 70 students from 6 different schools this year at the early college. And we like to remind people that it's great that college is free. Free as a parent, I understand it sounds really exciting, but really what we're about is college success. And they ran a 4-day boot camp that was just amazing and set those kids up for college success. And it was so great to see. I got to go there one day. And so I'm very appreciative of the work that they did there. Another one is Amy Castle, our enrollment concierge. I asked her to run some numbers. Summer is insane in her world. And just in high school is a place that we tracked. Since the middle of 4th quarter, we enrolled 197 new high school students. So those are not, I bought a house in this neighborhood and I show up to this school. Those are 197 families that Amy worked with and figured out, A, where can we fit you? B, where do we have the things you want? And trying to find great places for them. That's really crucial to our high schools. Our high schools could not function if she didn't help balance and adjust and make those things happen. And the other thing that she got to do was help place a student from Finland, and a student from Guam, and a student from Belgium, and a student from Japan, and a student from Romania, which means figuring out what the heck classes did you take wherever you came from and what can we put you in here? So she works with our counselors to try to figure out how to make all that stuff happen. So it's been a busy, busy summer for her. I want to acknowledge that hard work. And last, I think he already left, but it's proof. So Jim Matsushino has just been a road warrior. He had this tonight and then he was running to my come help for an event that they're doing. He's been to every one of our schools since the start of school year. And I think he's been to almost all of them twice. He has been a road warrior. And that work has allowed us to see really for the first time, a kind of district-wide view of fine arts. And it's really been powerful. There's some great things that have come of that. We've done our first ever kind of district-wide fine arts professional development for everyone. This week, we're doing content and grade level specific. So the K-8 art people are going to be one thing. Music people are going to be another thing. So we're doing another PD this week. There'll be more to come. So those are just some of the great things he's making happen. And one other thing, I hope they're not listening, but they're going to find out this week that we're putting funding into every K-8 or K-12 fine arts classroom this week. We're going to give them funds to say, hey, go back and get music, get art, get glitter, get whatever it is you need, get strings, get those things. So he was able to make an immediate input of supply money. And then also we're working on a rotation. So this year we will focus on K-8 music. The next year we'll focus on art. The next year we'll focus on high school music, and it allows them to have those bigger implementation of funds on kind of a rotation basis. I keep thinking, like, as a coach, Basketball got uniforms every 6 years. That's just the way it works. And so to get a rotation where we know, hey, K-8 music, every 5 years, you're going to have an input of funds and we'll be able to replace those tubas and buy those things. And this will be the year to buy kilns and next year will be the year to buy those things. So it's really been some amazing stuff that he's done. I just wanted to acknowledge what he said.
Thank you, Mr. Curley. And I'll just tag on to that. I also want to acknowledge the board. Setting aside some part of the process. I think this has happened. We're the ones where now, some of those funds that were already. Good stuff. Miss Benson Raymond. And team.
Good evening, President Pratt, members of the board, and Superintendent Cruz. I would like to take a moment to highlight the collaboration between our school wellness coordinators, Airmark, Amy Della O, and Micah's culinary student, community programs Chris Harms, and Wellness Coalition members Cindy Barger and Mandy Demerit. Also, special thanks to Crumble Cookies for their donation of gift certificates. Out of the goal to improve and highlight wellness in our community, this group organized an amazing junior chef cooking competition at Micah Mountain this past August. This was our second competition, and the growth over merely a few months was tremendous. One of our lead wellness coordinators, Trina Lakin, will present more about the competition.
Good evening, President Pratt, members of the board, and Superintendent Cruz. I am the proud PE teacher at Mesquite Elementary School and have represented my school as wellness coordinator for all of the 7 years that I've been there. The junior chef competition is way more than adorable children just feeding judges. Our students range in the ages from 1st grade to 12th grade. They build research skills to find nutritional value to their presentation, critical thinking skills when they are using tools from a kitchen foreign to them, peer-to-peer learning with Micah's culinary students, and public speaking when presenting their food to the judge. This competition complements building the foundation for the children in our community to enhance their physical health, mental well-being, and academic successes. I would also like to thank staff, students, and wellness coordinators for their time in making this competition possible and adding to the value of our community. I look forward to this continued tradition for many years to come. I would like to introduce Shyla Larson from Airmark to highlight their role.
Good evening, President Pratt, members of the board, and Superintendent Cruz. I'm Shyla Larson, Food Service Director with Airmark and proud Vail community member. After being invited to judge the competition last school year, I was thrilled to jump in and increase Airmark's involvement with the entire process this school year. With the help of our executive chef, Stephanie, Team Airmark purchased, gathered, and organized all ingredients for the competition to ensure it was accessible for all of our students. We also provided safety knives for our younger competitors to use and custom aprons for all of our finalists to take home. Furthermore, our delivery driver and former Vail bus driver, Richard Cummings, showcased his hidden photography talents by capturing hundreds of pictures of the event. Due to our great turnout this year, we offered enrichment activities such as basic knife skills, composting 101, and a kitchen tour while contestants waited for their chance to wow us with their culinary creations. Chef Stephanie and I were both honored to be judges this year and cannot wait to see what the competition brings in year 3. In fact, we were so impressed with the caliber of recipes stemming from this competition that we featured your board dinner on August 22nd with recipes that the students brought to us, to include caprese skewers, strawberry arugula goat cheese salad, and spaghetti squash with pasta sauce and parmesan. After I highlight our winners, Riley Walden, our first place winner in the K-5 category, and Jaden Rushforth, our first place winner in the 6th through 8th category, will be doing a joy drop and handing each of you a copy of this year's book. And I will announce the winners. So in the K through 5th grade category, first place was Riley Walden. She's a 5th grader from Sunita Valley Elementary. Second place was Bryce Bartleman, 1st grade from Edmond Station. Third place was Jasmine Vasquez, 4th grade from Ocotillo Ridge Elementary. In the 6th through 8th grade category, first place was Jaden Rushforth, 7th grade from Edmond Station. Second place was Jana Turner, 7th grade from Desert Sky Middle School. And third place was Alex Thompson, 7th grade from Desert Sky Middle School. And then in the 9th through 12th grade category, we have one contestant, and she plays first. Her name is Isabella Holly. She's a senior at Seneca High School. One last special thank you goes out to the Micah Mountain Culinary students that supported their young peers throughout the competition, and to our contestants who gave it their all and made my job as a judge quite difficult. We will see you next year in the kitchen. We can confirm that there.
Thank you all. That's all we have for staff student.
We will move on to follow the public and acknowledge request to speak. At this time, I do not have any request from the public to speak. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak? Not seeing any, we'll move on to correspondence and reports. Our first item is superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. Just a couple of announcements and reminders. First is this week marks our parent-teacher conferences week. It's hard to believe we're at that point in the first quarter, or the actual first semester. Wednesday and Thursday are half days for high school to facilitate that happen, and Thursday, Friday are after the pre-K, 8th grade. Just want to acknowledge those things going on. Also want to send a reminder. I know we've sent quite a bit out, email and on social media regarding our Dale Connections event this Saturday from 9 to 1 p.m. at Mike Mountain High School. As a reminder, this is a community-run and developed event that is facilitated and sponsored by fees that we collect for dental groups, primarily churches, and we turn around into an event that helps connect our families with resources, and just fun things, topics. It's an opportunity to come learn together and grow together, and do that in a fun way. And a number of people on that committee are trying to rebrand that a little bit and make sure that keeping that fresh. I think they're talking. This is how we have 353 registered folks already. So exciting. Also, I just want to note that this is the last board meeting that we will have in this room for the next. There will be 3 board meetings from now. We are in the process of anybody who walks in the building doing some construction and rehab on the roof and other things. Actually, we need to close the board. We can do some work here to add some enhancements, especially on the technology side. So our board meeting on, that's right, state this correctly, the 26th of September and the 10th of October at Micah High School.
Thank you. Any more reports? Do any board members have any reports they wish to share this time?
Of course, I got a book. We all brought coffee. All right, so I was able to attend the 2-day orange frog training with district leadership, and that was actually very entertaining. So as you guys see up here, we got Spark, so he's still hanging out with us. I can't wait to see the far-ranging impacts of that. I was able to actually leverage the training the following day in classroom-wise, and working with the students who's going to get really difficult situations. So. I also took Jeff Parks up on his offer of visiting Andrada, so I spent about an hour and a half with him. His dedicated staff and his amazing students. I got to see so many great aspects of the school. including new weight room equipment, the athletic field, the new bleachers, automotive shop, and the donated motors from Toyota, murals painted by the students. We visited several classrooms, and in one of them, I actually got to watch Jeff teach and engage students while facilitating a 7 mindsets lesson. In addition to soliciting feedback from students about various topics and activities that are brought up. We also just got back from the ASD Law Conference, where we got to learn about the Title IX updates, as well as other legal topics relating to school boards and legislative issues affecting the state. We heard from 2 great keynote speakers on education. I'm almost finished with one of the books. I won both of their books, so I'm almost finished with the first one. Additionally, I attended the ASDA Delegate Assembly with Ms. Tippett, where the association discusses, debates, and votes on legislative priorities for the following year. Each member district has a delegate and an alternate. This year there were 98 voting members, and they approved a variety of topics for a variety of priorities for both the state and the federal level. Also like to remind everyone that September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. The incidence of suicide has increased exponentially over the last few years. In Vail, I want to thank Heather Sal and Amanda Cook and their team for their intentionality, to which they brought this issue to the forefront to ensure prevention training through the QPR program. This program is taught to every new teacher who comes into the district. I know we don't do NTI twice, and they're to say both weeks. And they make sure that we as a district can respond to any and all potential crises. So if you or anyone is considering self-harm or suicide, please call 988 and get the help you need, because tomorrow will be a better day with you in it. This has been an important, this has and always will be an important issue. And the reason being, on July 10th, 2020, one of my former coworkers, friends to good life. After spending almost 10 years with the person, traveling the world with them, informed bonds cannot be broken. Additionally, the night I was elected to this position, one of our students took his life. This is important, as it was, and I'm thankful that I got to learn his story, Ethan's story, meet his family. Just wish I had the opportunity to meet him in person. Now I'm going to pick it up a little bit. 22 years ago yesterday, I was stationed at Davis Mountain Air Force Base, right up the road. Little did we know at that point that we lost 6 colleagues in the attacks on 9/11. It began as any other day, and that would soon change everything we would ever know. The way we travel, the way we communicate, the way we even view others. 22 years ago today, started off very hectic due to my position while stationed at DN that level. The sentiment that was overwhelming, though, was that of Americanism and brotherhood. People were intentional about caring for one another and doing what they could to help one another out. I just ask that we return to that September 12th mindset. Lastly, this Sunday, September 17th, is U.S. Constitution Day. For 237 years, our nation has operated under this document, crafted to aid us to become a more perfect union. The experiment of America is far from over, and we all have a duty under the Constitution to be involved in the process.
Share that I need information that I have to go to my council for the last 2 weeks. Share that. Also, one of my favorite each year is the station there. Either as they so I'm grateful that that was
Just want to piggyback on Eden and say, I also had the first opportunity to attend the ASDA 47th annual law conference, as well as the delegate assembly. So a lot was learned in regards to
cross spectrum, what we do, how we do it, the right way to do it, the legal, more ethical way to handle school districts, to make sure that parents are included, to make sure that we take care of our staff, our educators, and most important, how we conduct and provide the best environment for educational setting for each one of the students. So with that, I definitely appreciate the entire board being mentors and focusing around different subjects, allowing us to ask copious questions as lifelong learners. That's always helps us to go and branch in the best direction as community leaders for each member of our community as we represent the entire community going forward. The opportunity of, I think it was 96, 98 delegates were well represented up there, but the majority of them were brand new board members. So the amount of Q&A was copious, and having that opportunity to meet these folks, fresh eyes, trying to celebrate democracy, especially as we just passed 9/11, and now we are looking at the weekend, includes Constitution Day. Really, we are going, and it's thanks to this community is doing it right, do it right the first time. So I appreciate the mentorship of the board, especially as we got into the delegate setting, celebrating democracy, and I hope that we has that opportunity to celebrate.
I just have a quick word report. I also attended the law conference a lot about. It's one of my favorite conferences that we attended. It's really useful information. I also attended Esmond's Feature Days. I know that many universities had either assemblies or some activity to honor first responders and September 11th yesterday. So I just want to thank this for helping teach the kids all about what happened. You know, as a family, we watched the video, my favorite video about that day with the boat. So there's so many good stories that came from that day. So it was a great assembly at Esmond. We will move on to the consent agenda. All items listed below are consent matters and is considered by one motion at this time. There'll be no discussion of consent items. Any more things to be removed and items on the consent agenda by request. All items not accepted and approved as consent agenda will be considered. Do any board members have do any board members wish to pull an item?
Thank you, President Pratt. Members of the board, it's recommended that the Vail School District Governing Board approve all items on the consent agenda as presented. Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, we did motion carries. We'll move on now to old business. Our only item old business is kindergarten entry assessment and action items.
Thank you. I'm going to have Mrs. Penn come up and review the background since this was studied at the last board meeting, just to refresh everybody's memory, and also because it's a lengthy recommendation and for recommendation that's in specific to the assessment.
Good evening, President Pratt, Mr. Crute, and members of the board. At our last board meeting, we studied this item, and as a refresher, there was some legislation that was passed that required there to be a very specific kindergarten assessment that was used consistently across every school in the state of Arizona. Then that was followed up with some newer legislation that removed the requirement to use that specific. It's called a kindergarten readiness assessment, but it isn't an assessment that decides whether a student will enter kindergarten or not. That guides instruction for those who are entering kindergarten so that we get a really good idea
what the student's instruction needs are. And that decision has been moved from a decision that is consistent across all schools in the state to a decision that is made at the local level. So we brought forward as a recommendation some assessments that have been used for that exact purpose here in Vail for a very long time. And this allows the continuation of our current practices. I have the recommendation. I just didn't know. I wanted to make sure you wanted me to
Go
read it.
ahead, read.
Okay. Administration recommends that the Vail School District Governing Board adopt the following assessments as the kindergarten entry assessment. 1, a reading fluency measure such as the required move on with reading screeners. 2, a math fluency measure such as the spring math screening measures. And 3, the 45-day screening tool, which has been in place also. And is a
Accept the motion.
So moved.
Mr. King, Mr. Buster, comments or questions? No, this was studied last time. Any follow-up questions?
It's not necessarily a question, but it's interesting observation. That legislation often has really good discussion with actual practical people that just don't always get straightforward. Allowing practitioners what those practices this great whole process.
Yeah, this was studied last time as well, so with that, if you have comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's the motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to new business now. Our first item is reclassification of safety coordinator job description. Okay, Mr. Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz, President Pratt, members of the board. As you know, the Maintenance and Operations Department serves and supports our schools and all of our facilities in many ways. And one of those is school safety, site safety for all of our facilities. As the safety needs for our community and our schools continues to grow, we wanted to look at the reclassification of the safety coordinator job description. This person, this coordinator, would be responsible for making sure that the protocols that we put into place in all of our schools remain consistent, are practiced on a regular basis, and we continue to look at so that we can continue to fix or build upon the things that we put in place. Within the background that you have there with the job description, we wanted to look and see how does that meet what our current safety director is doing in his role, and how does this complement what he is doing at school sites and our facilities. One of the things that we would like for you to look at is moving the level, the safety coordinator position from a level 13 to a level 21 for a couple of reasons. One is the amount of roles that this person would take on at our school sites, but 2, they would also have a supervisory role if we were to move forward with this new job description. Vail School District is unique in the sense that majority of our school sites have a site resident that helps us with school safety, and to have somebody that is constantly there to help supervise them and provide them with coaching and or support, it would be important for them to be able to supervise those people as well. This is a study item, so be happy to answer any questions they have. This job description has not been reviewed since I think 2014, so it's time to bring this back and bring it up to date with what we're currently doing at our schools.
Questions? So, this will now going to be supervising the site documents? Or is this the-
Yes. Role would move towards to provide that is currently. Normally, that's been done by the director of facilities. Delegated to the city. So, want to modify that. For many reasons. One of them.
No, I can't. So, as a district, we have one safety coordinator.
Currently, we don't have a person position, director of safety. We have a plan to update job description and post the position. Mr. Wood, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Mr. President, Ms. Tippett, to be able to have somebody fill a position like this, we do need to have an accurate job description of what their role would be, to support. And, back to a comment earlier, safety is everybody's responsibility. So yes, while it falls upon myself and Mr. Bean as the safety director for the district, we share that with our principals and all the staff and community that support our school. But to be able to have a coordinator to assist us with the daily tasks, we need to update the staff.
Specifically, Mr. Wood, we don't have anybody in this position going to have some line. We do not. Right. Yeah, this would be an addition and post position, something we consider, frankly, something the three of us, or the four of us, have been kicking around for a while. What is that? How much? What?
Necessarily question. Considering the amount of work that districts are doing, that just doesn't happen without some focus. We want teachers teaching, we want principals supporting teachers, we want supporting teachers and students. Supporting parents and students, and it really makes sense that we need the administrators support on the safety side, so that our site staff can really focus on education. It's unfortunate that this is what school districts need to spend money that we actually need to do.
One other thing I would add, background, we've seen not only the procedural side of safety, but also the facilities needs related to safety. I think with 23 school site and other district office facilities, maintenance building, 27 full facilities. Just getting to them and making sure that they're safe and making sure that they have coordination on each one of them. That's a road that passes road. Mr. Dean in particular has taken on a large chunk of that. He's always here too for us for that process. How do you check on those things regularly? That's just a lot. And then support site administration and that process. If something broken, not working, that's a safety concern. So that's an aspect. I think the training side, the patient side of safety on but that's really the better side of it.
So just clarifying, so this was revised, but we don't currently, or we've never had some.
We had somebody in the position where we created that was what Mr. Dean's official job title. Safety coordinator, right? Safety director. So we created a position for that position for some time. This position has been there in the position, and we talked about how to what might be as far really Mr. Wood.
And then I just see that this position reports to the city. Any other questions? So. Really think that's like that as we are growing and it's just be so this is a study item, so I think we'll see again. Our next item is update on the components of FY24 school safety matters.
I think President President brings the board as Superintendent Carney and Power coming up. I just want to acknowledge a couple of things. One, publicly, that the executive session, one of the reasons we go into executive session has to do with school safety, and that's what we're in prior to the regular board meeting. And the reason it's executive session is so that we can talk about specific information that we don't want everybody to know our playbook on. So that's the kind of the intent of one particular item is one item on the agenda is to talk about just do some updates on what are some components of school safety that we can and should be communicating publicly. To that end, I also just want to acknowledge that those standing, Mr. Carney, Stow, Mr. Dean, Mr. Wood, and myself, meet no less frequently than every other month as school safety meeting to review things. There was a period of time for meeting weekly, and then every other week, and then once a month to make sure that we have things polished and go. So just do a high level overview of some of those things.
Thank you. Good evening, President Pratt, Mr. Group members of the board. Just want to come back before the board and share an overview where we're at with safety over the course of time. We shared with you our assessment of based upon the findings, mainly the Secret Service, of where are some strengths that we have with regard to school safety, where are some areas we've had to shore up. So tonight, we just want to remind you as we take a look through the lens of safety, some areas that we look at not only in terms of that physical safety, which most people think about, but also climate and psychological piece. We'll also talk about what it looks like for training and drills. In addition to that, we're going to pull in this value data. We just want to give you some update on some of the progress we made towards some goals that we found when we did some evaluation where we're at as an organization. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Mrs. Stout first. She's going to go ahead and share some information with you. Sorry.
Governing board members and Mr. Cruz. I just want to talk a little bit about climate and psychological safety. And first and foremost, safety is grounded in relationships here in our district. Everything that we do with, our ACT statement and operationalizing that through our character education common value, that's really the root or the foundation of everything else that we build on. And those connections really are our safety net, those student relationships, student staff, and then staff to parent relationships. And when all of those are close connections that we're intentional about, then our students are empowered and engaged in our schools. And when someone sees something, then they say something. And also a big piece are protective factors. And as I had shared earlier, those are all surveyed every January, our student survey and our staff survey. And so you'll see a couple of examples up here on what we're gauging as protective factors for a student survey. And it's school connectedness, and we are tracking how many extracurricular activities our students are engaged in. Do they like school? Do they feel like they fit in? And then over on peer social support, are they getting along with other students? And does their school feel welcoming to them? So every year we are gauging those across all of our campuses. And then in April of last year, we did our first relationship data dig. And so we are digging into all of this information and finding what our strengths are and where we can grow, and we're having very collaborative conversations around these areas so that we can bolster protective factors, because kids who feel connected at school, kids who feel engaged at school are just going to make safer choices and be invested in their campuses. Next, I just wanted to point out that in 2020, 2021, we had 28 counselors and student services coordinators. And because of the help of ADB with our school safety grant, we are now up to 45 counselors, student service coordinators, We have our lead counselor with Amanda Cook and Jill Wells, our family resources coordinator. So it's just another one of those personnel influxes that we had that can really wrap around our students who may need those extra tier 2 and tier 3 services. We may see some red flags for at-risk behavior. And then this is just going over our tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 supports. Tier 1 supports touch every single student on our campus. Tier 2 supports, we bring those in when we're seeing some at-risk behaviors. And then tier 3, those are our high-risk students who may need some outside agency support. So we look at it through this the lens of systems. I want to point you to tier 2, the threat assessment team's utilization of CSTAG, which is our comprehensive school threat assessment guidelines. Every campus in our district has built a threat assessment team, and from May to August, they attended a CSTAG training. And what that did was it gave them some tools that they can utilize to be able to analyze when a threat appears on our campus. And they're able to make a more informed decision on whether we have two different types of threats that we're building common language around. There's a transient threat, and that is a low risk threat, or they could deem that it is a substantive threat that is a high risk threat. So substantive threats, we are going to take those precautions on. But thankfully, the vast majority of threats that we see in our campus are transient. And that leads us to, if you look at tier 2 on this pyramid, that we can instantly and expediently get some interventions wrapped around our students, whether it's check in, check out, which are providing those touch points 2 times a day for our students, check in, connect, our structured mentoring program, or a skills group, for example, anger management. So once those red flags appear, we can easily wrap supports around them in that sense. And if referral to outside agencies is needed, then we always have that available through our counselors and student service coordinators on all of our campuses. The third piece is data. We have very robust achievement teams and student solution teams on every one of our campuses, and they're meeting at least twice a month to look at some of these data points. So again, if you look at tier 2, things like office discipline referrals, our behavior data, attendance, grades, tardies, all of those pieces we're consistently monitoring just as a proactive approach that when a student starts to show some of these red flags, that we can instantly go back to these practices to be able to wrap around them and provide those supports. So CSTAG is something that we just finished working on. We are going to continue to build that out. And then our next steps for psychological safety is to look at a tier 1, say something, coordinated training across our district. And then also looking at our central reporting mechanism and different options to be able to. Thank you for your time.
Can you just, since you're there, talk a little bit about where we are with CSTAG relative to the rest of the county and how people can, what's, there's been some outreach to you with regards to that.
Of course, President Pratt, governing board members, Mr. Caruth, Mr. Beam and I received a phone call last week from Sergeant Hill from the Tucson Police Department, and he shared with us that what we're doing with CSTAG to have every single a team from every single one of our schools trained. We are actually the model for the county, and we are the only district in the county that has all of our schools trained. And they're actually wanting to partner with us to talk about our model and how we can help them to train other districts throughout the county. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. P. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pratt, Mr. Caruth, board members. I'm going to speak on trainings and drills that we are conducting at our school sites. Trainings that we are doing, we are working with office staff, security monitors, parapros, custodial staff, day porters, nurses on what are the things that we need to focus on daily for checks throughout the school. And not only daily, but multiple times throughout the day. So there's different trainings that are the trainings that we're doing is how do we look for those things? What do we do? And so forth on that. The drills that we're also doing, we are doing monthly drills for our emergency response, which would be for fire drills or emergency evacuations. And then we also have drills for our shelters in place and our lockdowns. And there's not just drills happening, but there's also trainings happening with the school staff by their administration. With the trainings for staff, we do have different checklists that they are going to be doing and using throughout the day. Not just throughout the day, we also have checklists for beginning of the school years and other areas. A big focus too is finding what things are working and not working. And so making sure all those items are being reported so that they're being addressed immediately.
And one of the things with the physical safety components is like Mr. Bean talked about with communications. You know, we have cameras at all of our school sites as part of the physical safety components. We have radios at all of our school sites that are consistent now throughout the entire district. Our PA systems, all those things are checked on a daily basis by somebody at that school site. It's no longer somebody maybe from the district checking in on those items to see if they're working or not working. And we have systems in place for them to be able to communicate if there are issues with any of those safety components so that we can get them fixed immediately. One of the other things that you all are very well aware of are the site fencing projects that we have going on in our district. We have almost all of our schools now have the site fencing up to at least an 8-foot high level with crash bars on the interior side of those campuses. We have a few schools left in Rita Ranch that need to be completed, and then we have school sites that have maybe like a one-off type thing that needs to be taken care of, like a crash bar at a specific spot on the campus, or you know, maybe we need some additional fencing in some certain areas of those campuses. Acacia Elementary School, here's an example of that one. Sonita Valley, that's at the back playground area. That was a short height fence there that is now up to the 8-foot level to secure the perimeter of our academic facilities. It's not around our playground areas, it's purely the academic facilities at this time. Are there any questions on the physical aspects before I move on to some advice? Okay.
If you have questions before that, just questions.
Just a couple of the value statements that our schools are safe places. We've done a lot of work with our community, a lot of work with our staff, a lot of work with our students to make sure that we have a safe place for our students. We live in a very safe community. We are partners with our community and bring them alongside of us to make sure that we're doing what's best for our entire school community. Even with low incident, though, there is high concern. You know, we live in a world where we have to think about those things, but we need to take care of things that are within our control. Our connections with students, families is our greatest defense. We've heard us say it many times. Our relationships and connections with our community, with our kids, with our teachers is our #1 defense, and taking care of problems as they come up versus caring about it in a different way. And as you heard me say earlier, school safety is everybody's responsibility. And safety is an inconvenience sometimes, but it's a necessity that must be done at all.
Just questions, Pam, and happy to answer any of them. We get into specifics about legal issue kind of things. We will acknowledge that. Answer those. Want to make sure that the public's aware of the things that we're doing, but not turn over the specifics of the things that we're doing. So,
questions from the board?
Yeah, just on the fencing project, we're continuing.
Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Mr. President Pratt, Ms. Tippett. I would say that we are, with the exception to the one-off type projects, I would say we're about 2 months away from all of our schools having the the standard of 8-foot high fencing and the crouch bars on the team.
Just a comment. I've had the opportunity to review protocols, processes, procedures. I know the amount of hard work that it takes to get every resource to protect our children, protect our staff, protect our schools, protect. And almost a paradigm shift of what we had years ago on where we're at today. So huge thanks to you for creating a safety culture, sustaining that safety culture, and of course, putting forth every effort at your disposal to make our schools safe and secure.
Questions? I just had a quick question about the fencing. So in this 2 months, in the next 2-ish months, is that the end of the projects for fencing, or this is like phase 1?
Mr. President Pratt, we will make sure that the standards that we set forth for all of our sites are at those standards. We will then reevaluate as a district to see if there's take that a step further for other components of those facilities.
It just so the standard was that the interior campus, the courtyards, most of our campuses are campus style, so they're not long hallways. So there's a perimeter, an 8-foot perimeter fence that encloses the main building, interior courtyards of our school space, have crash bars outside, so that happen. So that standard is this project. What we will then need to evaluate is that not there's questions around do we want to do more playgrounds? What does that look like? And there's other, to be very frank, there's other large scale capital projects that could be done. It's really expensive. The question is what is the return on that? What's the efficacy of that in relationship to food safety? As been noted many times, the most robust thing we can do to prevent issues with that. So be sure that we're intentional with our connections with people safe and respected value to say something back. That's the most robust approach. It's the most robust. Others have become other issues, sort of Apple item issues. We try to get those that are at the best efficacy.
So regarding the fencing, I know like at my son's school, the playground is fenced with a really tall fence. Would you say, as a general statement, schools built after a certain year or some of the newer schools all have that around the playground? Or the that's where
Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
President. I would say that I think Ocotillo Ridge is where we got the height correct. However, Ms. Robal is in the room. She would say that we don't have the crash bar piece correct at her school site, right? People be able to run if necessary in a high fight situation. So that is one of the one-offs, if you will, that we need to fix for her school site. I believe after we built Ocotillo Ridge, we learned that part of the process, and our schools since then have done that. So your Esmond Station, your Copper Ridge. I think Copper Ridge's playground isn't quite at the 8-foot, but the playground piece. But I think the other schools are the
Most of these schools go back to add that, frankly, those are just very concerns and we've been in place such a fire that have required more.
I know we're gonna continue to talk about that. I would love to just have that be a discussion.
Yeah.
Were there any other questions? I just also want to reiterate, both as a board member and as a parent of the district, just acknowledging and thanking the whole team, just the emphasis that you have on relationships. I think that it's really easy when you look at like a law enforcement or safety aspect to go straight to some of those things and completely sidestep those relationships. So I just want to thank you for that. And I just want to thank you for this. Right. If there are comments or questions, we're going to go to our last agenda item, which is adjournment. So I just accept the motion to adjourn.
So.
I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you so much. you.